Hey everybody, Karen Anderson here with Aortic Hope's Week in Review. In case you don't know what that means, because we're in a new year, let me tell you what it means. It means we're going over all of the posts from the previous week and giving you guys an opportunity to tell me your opinion, interact with me, chat, say something, do something. Let me know you're there. And then we're going to kind of talk about things. But because we're wrapping up a lot of the end of 24, we're still kind of into those last few days of the 31 days of hope and joy, which is what December is all about. So before we get started, click like, click subscribe, click the uh, bell. Ding, click the bell so that you're notified every time we go live. And then you don't have to remember when this happens. You're going to get a little notification that says, oh, Aortic Hope is live. And then you hop on and join. So do that. Okay. And let's get into some fun and some thought-provoking questions, which of course are not the opinions of Aortic Hope. They're just mine, whoever shares. Uh, well, I don't know. We'll see what kind of opinions I have, but let's get started. Oh, I'm in my Happy New Year glass day frame. I do love these. Terry turned me on to them, the magnets. Well, there it goes. No, did I just screw it up? I think I just screwed it up. Oh, there it is. And I'm watching the snow fall. I don't, well, when it gets cold, it kind of sometimes gets flat, and then I have to play with it and bend them and back into shape. All right, we're going. We're going. This is happening. All right. So this was on day 30, everybody. And so we were talking about things that kind of make you feel hopeful and joyful. And we wanted to know some of the things that you feel Aortic Hope does that makes you feel supported and joyful. I want to say that those responses on Facebook brought a tear to my eye. They were really so wonderful. I mean, actually, people mentioned things that I just didn't even think of, But I think Marion had said that um, she knows after being part of this community that she's not alone in her struggles. That's the one thing that this has really proved to be very valuable to her, and that's kind of something that's really sustained her is reading posts, kind of being maybe more as an observer. When she reads things, she just knows, wow, this person feels what I feel. And I'll say, just as I am also a patient, everybody. I'm not just somebody who helped to create this with others, or am not just the president of a board with an organization that if it wasn't for everybody that's coming together, we would not be able to do nearly as much as what we're doing for you now. I'm still a patient. I still got to get my scans. I'm still waiting and hopefully waiting for a long time before my valve might be replaced, or I might need to have an aneurysm repaired. So, I always say this is turned into a page that was just supposed to be hopeful quotes, inspirational quotes, a club. It was supposed to be hopeful hearts. And then I think we did realize, well, maybe like this really doesn't have much to do with your heart. Um, it's turned into something that was selfishness that turned selflessness. Sounds silly, but it's totally true. Doing things for and with this organization that, I mean, who gets to do something that you kind of create and you kind of push along and help, that also helps you. That's such an odd thing. It's just so odd. I mean, if you're a nurse, you're helping patients, but you're not deriving any medical care from the care that you're giving, right? You're not like, you have to still give yourself a vaccine if you're giving them a vaccine, or you have to stitch them up and you'd have to stitch yourself up. But, this is just a very different. I'm nursing on I don't know if you could tell, the sneeze is coming out of the right side of my face in a minute. But this is just a very unique situation in that other careers I've had in HR or recruitment and helping people find jobs, which I did for some of Maryland's top organizations and just countrywide top organizations, helping people find a position, a career starter or a career opportunity made me feel so good all the time. But this is different because I get something out of it. So because all of you trust us in sharing your stories and being open and being vulnerable, it to me, this what a blessing, because when I'm down, which I like to share when I'm down, but I don't share every time I'm down, I can always turn to the page and I get to be a follower and I get to be a participant and I get to read all of the incredible things that each and every one of you decide to share. So what a interesting yin and yang situation there, right? And some of the other comments that I recall seeing were the support group meetings. They really love participating in those meetings, and they love the the Survivor series. They love listening to all of you that are brave, that are brave and decide to share it live, and they just think it's wonderful. I mean, they love getting the acknowledgement and hope mail. So it was a great post. If you need a feel good post and you need a reason to become part of our community, you should check out that post. And the sneeze is coming, I promise you. And I'm supposed to say, hi, Tom. It's coming. Hold on. It's getting there, Josh. What do you love
Yeah,
about
yeah,
us?
yeah. And then bless you.
Yep.
There you did it. Yay! And hi, Christina.
Hi, Christina.
And yeah, I would have to
Still
say
in it.
that the Survivor series is definitely one of my favorite things. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good one. It is a good one. It's the kind of thing that either makes you be like, oh my goodness, or you're like, oh, that's wonderful, or it makes you agitated and irritable because you're like, how are people still missing this, right? I'm reading stories every day. There's another story of somebody, a physician, a hospital system, what have you, that just missed it. And I'm like, think aorta. Two simple words making such a difference, saving so many lives, just takes two words. And honestly, it doesn't take $1 million to educate and make people aware or to even provide support. It just takes one. It takes one person to listen to you, educate them, right? And bring the awareness about aortic disease. And it just takes one person that you can um, educate them about their disease and give them some insight and some inspiration. And that one can change many. So it's amazing what an impact one person, let alone an entire organization or community, can have on so many. So I personally love that. I love it. Okay, last day. Last day of 31st. God, this year went by fast. Did I do anything? No, because I was sick. I was supposed to. I said, no. I said, back in bed. That's where I went. The 31st. Last thing, New Year's resolution. Do you know, I noticed that people must have been partying. They forgot to put a winner for that, although we did have a winner for the week, which was Colleen Budai. And we did have an overall winner, which I'll get to in a minute. I'm sorry, we did have an overall biggest loser winner, which I'll tell you momentarily. But resolution or one thing you're looking forward to in 2025. I'm looking forward to going away every weekend in the summer, doing something new, enjoying a whole new life with my husband and family. And yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. You got any resolutions or new things coming up on your horizon?
Oh, I'm
No.
always happy about new clients for sure.
Yeah, that must be exciting,
Yeah.
getting involved in their mission. And
Hmm.
that's got to be really cool.
Hi, Tony. Happy
Yeah.
New Year. Hi, Natalie.
Tony Montana.
Yes, it is.
Every time we say it like that. Tony Montana. Can't help myself. Who else? Tony, Tom,
Natalie.
Christina, Natalie. You know who's coming in a minute.
Oh, if we wish her name hard enough, Elda will show.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. All right, guys. That ends the 31 days of hope and joy with our biggest loser was Kathy Jasek. So she did not win 1 week. She won for the overall biggest loser. So we're excited to her. Hopefully we'll hear from her, can get prize information out to her. And that was it. So you know what that means? We're back in the groove. We are back in it. January. First thing we're going to do is we're going to welcome Joyce. I'm going to butcher the last name, Karenbach. I think I'm right. Here's Joyce. So excited to have Joyce part of the team, social media administrator, amongst other tasks that she's doing. Uh, so she's a fellow survivor. Okay. And she is herself, admittedly, which I love this about her, seeking ways to feel motivated, to move her body. She told me, so it's only fitting that she take over the movement for Movement Mondays. So I've been doing it since we created it. We're just wrapped up our fourth year. No, our fifth year. We just wrapped up our fifth year of a Movement for Movement Mondays. So I am happy to hand that off to her. She is going to really be assisting with the creation of those types of posts and bringing some inspiration to everyone in different ways that you guys can move your body, right? Because we need to do something. Joyce is a devoted wife of 21 years and is a proud mother of five. I'm tired with the thoughts of one. Loving you, kid. But she's a mother of five. 3 years ago, she survived an aortic dissection undergoing life-saving surgery. She now channels her energy into her family, volunteering on the booster board for her children's JROTC unit, cherishing date nights with her husband, walking her dogs, painting, diving into books, deepening her faith through Bible study, and passionately spreading awareness about aortic dissections to inspire and educate others. So I hope everyone welcomes Joyce. Look, I saw her post for today. Killed it, nailed it. Great job. So we're so excited to have you with us, Joyce. Look forward to some more inspiration to get my butt off that sofa in 2025. Speaking about 25, there's still time today to be part of this flash sale. Everything that's on our Spread Shop Hope Shops, 25% off. Okay. It's through the end of the day today. So this started a couple days ago, last week. Go to the Spread Shop. You can click this link. You can go up to Hope Shops. You'll go down. You'll see Spread Shop. You'll see pictures of some stuff. Just click redeem at the top of the main screen and it will apply 25% to anything. 25% off to anything. So you've got sweatshirts, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, even aprons. You've got the iconic Just the Hearts, right? Just that. You got the full logo with the name. There's a couple other things in as well, and a portion of your sale is dedicated from Spreadshop to Aortic Open. Remember, 100% of all monies that we receive are used towards the initiatives we provide for you. No one that's affiliated with us is compensated. So check that out. I promise you there'll be another sale coming up. I do believe the next sale next week is free shipping. And then after that, we round out the month with 15% off. So this is your good one. 25% off. If you were thinking about it, jump on there today and grab some swag. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me knock some of these off here. Hey, it's 2025. Can't believe it's 2020. It sounds like we should be like the Jetsons at this point and flying in our own little space capsules, doesn't it? I feel like so many space movies, that's what it looked like, and that's not what it's like. Yeah, no. I think a lot of the potential devastating stuff is for sure, yeah, it's right around the corner. But 2020, I mean, look at Star Trek. They had flip phones way before we even had push button. So I walked into bed and breakfast this weekend and they had a rotary phone. I was so excited to play with it. And I immediately remembered why I hated my friends that had nines and zeros in their phone number, because you would take this and you'd have to go nine and you'd have to wait, right? If the phone number, let's say, was 9220797, and then I'd be like 22, and you're like zero. And if you have to call your friend, you're like zero, and you're like pushing it as hard as you can to get back around to dial the number quickly. God, when we got our first push button phone, so exciting. Not to mention the first wireless. I remember my first cordless phone, and I ran out to the driveway and called my next door neighbor who's at her driveway on her phone. And I'm like, I am calling you from a phone that has no cord. She's like, I know, I'm in my driveway talking to you. I'm on mine too. We just looked at each other because the cords could go from the kitchen all the way through the hallway, down the 3 stairs into the considered our basement. They had long kitchen cords, except the problem with those cords is they would curl and then they would start curling up on each other. And that then it was like a punishment. If we got in trouble, like we would have to be the one to unfurl the cord. But how did I digress into this? All right, let's talk about 2025. It's so much more important. All right, so every year we've been creating this theme, and I think it started back in 2020. So we became a nonprofit in 18. We became an actual something, an organization, a page, a concept in 16. And we decided to do a lot of fundraising and got the funds and got the policies, procedures, and everything you need, and became a nonprofit in 18. So in 2020, we were like, oh, let's have a theme. Let's make something, you know, have meaning every single year. So 2020 is what started, and that was our movement for movement to motivate everybody to just get up and move your body according to whatever conversations you've had with your physician. And in 21, it became our focus on emotional health. Everybody wanted us to kind of, we had just come out of 2020 and we were far from over yet out of COVID. So we did a couple things. Our Hope Mail items usually reflect the themes that we're in. And so, 21 was emotional health at the time. And we talked a lot about Therapeutic Thursday was a real focus for us and talking with therapists. And then 22 came, and that was the start of community collaboration and who we were collaborating with. And focusing on some of those events and those relationships. And then in 2023, we asked you to help us help you be the best you can be in 2023. And so we tried to come up with things like Aortic Dissection, the patient guide that launched officially in really officially in 23. I mean, we had some stuff at the end of 22, but so here it is in 23. And that was a major tool to really help you be the best you could be. And then 24 was really the year we showed you how you could receive more in 24. And between 23 and 24, we included extra support group meetings. We translated the book into Spanish. We made it be an audible on YouTube. If you feel like listening to this voice and seeing this face read you the book, go check it out. Maybe you'll find it entertaining. But we did definitely provide ways that you could receive a little bit more on your journey in 24. So 2025, this year, we really want you to strive to thrive and not just survive in 2025. So we have shortened it to strive to thrive in 2025. That's our hashtag for this year, along with the hashtag ACE Your Healthcare Journey. And so putting the two of those together, our goal for this year is really going to be to show you how you can thrive and not just survive. And one of the ways you can do that is through acing your healthcare journey. So you're going to see a lot more about that. We're going to actually incorporate that into some of our live interviews with physicians, asking them how they ace healthcare journeys with their own patients. So I look forward to kind of asking that as a, let me throw it at the end and see if I stump them kind of question, because it's so incredibly important to advocate, communicate, and educate for yourself, teaching your physicians, your clinicians, and then ultimately having them do this for you. There's no way we should be the middleman, especially between primary care, cardiologist, surgeon. If you're having a procedure, if you're having an operation, it is just way too much. So how can we get them to be a little bit more involved in our overall health care, right? It's going to be really important. So, as you know, or you may not know, Aortic Hope, one of the things we strive to do is to kind of meet you wherever you are in your recovery and management of aortic disease. And I have seen names since I joined the community back in 2015, and you start to see it's like ebbs and flows. You see a lot of people really participate, and you all know who you are because I see you in the morning. I know you guys, some of you are on here right now. And then there are times where some people just kind of fade away because they get back into their daily routine, but then maybe a scan comes and they're nervous, so they come back into the community. That's why we're here. We're doing the same thing, right? We're riding the tides of this journey. And so we're here to meet you wherever you are. And uh, here's some of the ways that you can really strive to thrive in 25. Download a copy of the patient guide. Because guess what? Guide 2, Aortic Disease, the patient guide, is right around the corner. We are in those final moments, final edits, requesting some photos. We're going to start laying those out. And then we're off to go get our endorsements, which will not take long at all because they are all super excited to see the book that we've written. And then that QR code will be ready for download. I'm hoping that it's out by sometime in February, but guaranteed it will be ready to rock and roll within the first quarter of the year. And we're only going to have a certain amount available for print, really holding those for care packages. The goal is that if you want a hard copy, get your doctor to order a box for free. Get them to order a box of 25 for free. The other reason why we're not printing thousands of copies of the second book is because, why do you think? There's so many people with aortic disease. It's so much more common than anybody realizes that that is going to be a very expensive proposition. So we will be looking into alternative ways that you can obtain a hard copy, but you definitely can get a hard copy of the aortic dissection book because they're rare. And I know there are people out there that say, well, we know that it's rare, but it's not rare to us because we had one, but it's still rare. End of discussion, hard stop. Dissections are still rare. The goal is to make aortic disease be so much more common than anybody realizes, so that everybody realizes it. It is what it is, right? Ultimately, the goal would be to remove that gene so nobody ever has a problem with their aorta. But look, aortic aneurysms happen. They happen. Valves, issues, regurgitation, stenosis, bicuspid, it happens. What doesn't have to happen would be dissections. And I know that you can have dissections without aneurysms and without having issues with your valve. But again, that now you're going down the rabbit hole of things that are even more rare. It still all falls under aortic disease. Okay. So that's coming your way. All right. Tell your surgeons all they need to do is reach out. There's a link right here for download on our main page, on our resources page, on our Hope Shops page. It's the first thing that they're going to find, and they can order a box of 25 for free to hand out to their patients. All right, going live, YouTube channel right here, AHTV. We have events all the time. They're all the time happening, whether it's Qigong, whether it's our aortic kitchen, could be aortic artist, could be a survivor series, could be live with a clinician or an attorney or a therapist, could be weekend review. There's so many different things, and we're adding all the time. So that is one way that you can educate yourself more about the disease. It's another way that you can thrive by becoming part of a community, hopefully finding a hobby of the things that we're offering and just enjoying being part of the community. So the interesting thing about YouTubes are, and you have to remember this when you chat on YouTube or when you're going to participate, these are things that everybody gets to see, which is why we always offer our anonymous link in case you want to stay anonymous. But it's important. It's an important way for you to have that interaction in the moment with somebody that has a topic that's of interest to you. So bear that in mind. Hope Mail, you guys, it's free. Don't we still love the word free? Because free is free. Hope Mail is something that is sent to anyone who signs up, except for the people in the EU, because you got some screwy packaging, something's going on right now where they make you pay to pick up your packages. So I don't know what's happening. But outside of the EU, if you would like to receive a token of acknowledgement from the members at Aortic Hope, we would love to send you something. Now, a lot of you have multiple dates that you designate as your aortiversary. Diagnosis date, procedure 1 date, operation 2 date. You can only pick one. You can only pick one. Pick one date. Sign up using the form right there. You can also find that under our program section. Sign up, and during the month of your one designated aortiversary date, we will send you a couple tokens of acknowledgement and appreciation. We just want you to know that we're cheering behind you. We're in the background saying, rah, rah, we think of you, we acknowledge you, and we're people that aren't going to forget. Because look, the reality is, we can't always rely on our family members to always want to celebrate every aortiversary because we don't know what they feel like. They think about it too every day, just like we do. And it could be not necessarily a pleasant thought when the aortiversary comes. You know, we're like, wow, another one came, still here, pretty exciting. So one time my therapist said to me, you know, ask your family members to join you for dinner every 5 years. I reluctantly agreed, and it's fine. But my 10 years coming up, and I am very excited because you know what? When this first happened to me, it said 10 years, be lucky if you're still alive after 5. And most people by 10 have had their second surgery. Knocking on wood. Hasn't been me. I'm still alive right now. Haven't had a second surgery. Unless I get one in the next 23 days, I think I'm good to go. 10 years. I'm pretty excited. I don't get Hope Mail because I'm processing all of yours, but I do get to see what we give out. And so this year, in the spirit of a senior healthcare journey, we have a couple products that we think will help you do that. So sign up today because it's free. Be a shining star in someone's life and share your story of survival. Okay. If you are watching this and you have not shared yet, please consider doing so because you can do it one of three ways. You can do it in written form, right? That's totally fine. YouTube will still put a computerized voice on it. It will be out there on public channels for everyone to read. Keep all that in mind. Go live or do a pre-recorded video. But when you go live, you allow the community members to ask you questions. That's going to live in perpetuity forever in our library as well, which is a good thing because then we can share the links and we can refer to people because that's one of the main things, according to that post, that people find the most inspiring and uplifting is your stories, whether you're the caregiver, the patient, or even if you lost a loved one to aortic disease, we want to hear their story. They lived a life and we need to know about it. And we probably need to know what happened if you're willing to share so we can have those conversations with our own physicians as well. So sign up for the Survivor Series. Join our support group meetings. There's like 9 to choose from, right? We have 3 general support group meetings. We're testing my memory here. First Tuesday, so there's one tomorrow night. That's a combo between Aortic Hope and Aortic Bridge, which was originally formed out of Brooklyn, New York. And that's at 12 o'clock noon. All times are Eastern. Then we have one on the, what is it, the second Tuesday of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then we have one on the last Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's our general, okay? And then we have caregiver only. So caregivers can go into the first one, but then we have caregiver only. That's the first Saturday at 10 a.m., the first Monday of the month at 10 p.m., and the third Monday of the month at 8 p.m. We also have a Spanish support group meeting. We have people that sign up. We will have that meeting first Monday at 7 p.m. And we also offer a bereavement meeting every other month. The first one is January, so there'll be another one in March, and that is the second Thursday at 7 p.m. Oh my God, I just picture calendars dancing through my head like whatever dances through people's sugar plums in Christmas time. Uh, Even our friends in Canada have a support group meeting. So yeah, there's lots. And once you sign up for these support group meetings, you only sign up once. You're going to get the link to join moments before the meeting. They are closed, they are private, they are not recorded. Again, no medical advice is given during these meetings. We want you to hear from other people's experiences, and maybe if that like provokes a question in you, take it to your physician, ask about it, say, hey, I heard this, want to talk about it. Everything we talk about is never meant to substitute the medical care and plan that you're doing, but it should validate you hearing other people's stories. We did hear somebody recently say that they realized, wow, like I'm listening to your guy's story and I haven't even had a dissection and I feel bad that I'm here with just an aneurysm. I said, there's nobody out there that's going to look at you and say, oh, you just have an aneurysm. An aneurysm is a big deal. You're very lucky that it's been diagnosed because the goal is we hope it doesn't turn into something worse. So you're never going to feel diminished. It's never a competition. Everybody gets something out of everybody's story. So please consider joining. And then the fun of it is you're also going to get a link on Thursdays before our 2 p.m. hangout, where it's not a support group. It's kind of like hanging out at Starbucks with a bunch of friends that you have this major, massive thing in common with. So it's a little bit more PG rated potentially, but you're going to have fun. So if you're not looking for the potential heaviness of a support group and you want lighthearted, specific disease related hanging outs, then go to Hangouts. You'll get those links too. Patient awareness posters. Listen, you want to strive to thrive? Get some other people to get to the place to be able to thrive as well. Order patient awareness posters. They are free, 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 free. You'll get a pack of 10. Take them to your doctor's office. Tell them to put it in the exam rooms because what else are we doing? When we're waiting for them to come in, we've had our vitals taken and now you're sitting there stressing. Instead, let a patient read a little bit of information about aortic hope. Scan a QR code and immediately register for a support group meeting. Scan another QR code and immediately download the aortic dissection or aortic disease books in the future. Download it right to their phone, right? We'll send you that pack of 10. Just give it to your physicians and tell them to post it. You can sign up for that right there as well. And then finally, we talked about it, Hope Swag. It's another thing that you can do, which right now, today, is 25% off. You want to get people talking about aortic disease? Wear the logo. They're going to be like, "What is aortic hope?" And then you have a chance to educate them. Right? There's a lot of t-shirts with EKGs and then it's kind of like dies off and then it starts again. It says I'm back or these catchy phrases. That's great. You can get one of those too, sure. But if you're wearing something from Aortic Hope or even Rock from the Heart or even John Ritter Foundation, it gives you an opportunity to share organizations that work so hard to better the aortic disease community. So show your love and support that way. And if you like what we do, I mean, if you love what we do, you can give more. But if you like it, consider making a donation. We are able to provide everything we can because of the donations. That's what gives us our operating expense money. And again, no one is compensated. That's with the board and none of the volunteers. So we encourage you to do that whenever you can. You can do that easily by clicking the donate button right here at the top of the screen, or if you're on Facebook, clicking that as well. So these are all the different ways you can strive to thrive in 2025. I have no idea what I'm going to come up with as the saying for next year. I'll worry about that in 359 days. So that's that. All right. Who else do I have to say hi to? Made it through that big rant? Woo.
That was
I like,
excellent. We're going to have to replace the landing page video with that.
I like it. Just cut off me trying to find some saliva in my mouth. I got that part off.
Perhaps.
Okay.
Hi, Gipra.
Who? Oh, hi.
So
Hi
here's the
there.
thing.
Yeah.
So Tony says, anyone with Pumphead, I just watched a 2020 documentary titled Pumphead, and it is an excellent watch.
Hey, send us the link if you
Yeah?
watched it online. I'd love to see that. An interesting pump head. So definitely understood, known in the community to a point. There's an ending point when there's a deep consideration that it might not be pump head, right? And that's because if there's no element of brain bleeds, micro, macro, whatever, in a scan, then the question has to be, is it possibly this short-term memory loss associated with a degree of anxiety that may or may not be caused by post-traumatic stress? So I talked with, and I will get this gentleman to go live. I talked with a cognitive neuropsychologist specialist in this field because I'd seen so many neurologists. I went to see every ologist in my first year or two. But this person who gave me cognitive testing, I've had it done 2 or 3 times, and lo and behold, I do better each time. I think that I'm doing worse, but I end up doing better. Last time I was in and talked with him few years ago, I told him, I said, God, I'm forgetting to shut the garage. I'm just getting so stressed out. I boil water and then the sound goes off. I'm like, why is the pot on the stove? I even forget I'm boiling water. I have to set alarms before the alarm. So I try to remember what the alarms were. This is how bad it was. And he said, we know that you had a few TIAs, there's like 6 microbleeds. This is not in an area that would impact your memory. He goes, so I'm wondering if this could be anxiety. He said, so little things he told me, like when you leave the garage, shut the garage door and touch it and then go into your car. Because you touched it, you now just branded it. You're not going to drive past your house 6 times to make sure it's down, that it didn't spontaneously go up. You touched it, you verified it's down. I said, okay, I like that. He said, and I also want you to go to EMDR therapy. This is before I actually started it. And he said, I think that you could have a degree of PTS. And what happens is if you're not feeling well, it could happen so fast you don't realize it. You get an arrhythmia, extra little beat, or you get a gas bubble, anything. It hits you so fast that the brain is just literally shutting down and that impacts your short-term memory. So the idea would be if you fix some of that trauma, the short-term memory would get better. And would you believe he was 100% correct? So I went to the EMDR only because I finally had the final piece of the puzzle, someone saying, you kind of have to go. Let's at least roll this out. And once I went, the short-term memory, I mean, I could not recall words. Like I'm going to be 56 in 2025. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to recall certain words. And it's not like that old yet, but I mean, it's starting. So like you can't recall everything all the time. But this was bad. Like couldn't say things. The words would come out wrong. Once I did the therapy, and we can get into a whole other show about the therapy. Um, it just changed. It's incredible how much changed after allowing myself to really do the EMDR therapy. I still have degrees of, a little bit of cognitive issues, definitely not like it was before. And I do believe now we can firmly say that is a pump head thing. But I think when people just blanketly say pump head is to blame for inability to form a perfect sentence, say certain words, short-term memory, reading issues, comprehension issues, that could possibly be uh, too easy of an answer. And maybe there is a tool that could fix it to make it better. I am not a doctor. I do not know. I just know what I went through and can only tell you what I experienced myself. So pump head's 100% a real thing. Doctors definitely recognize it. I wish more doctors would offer the suggestion to look into something therapeutic to try to make it better. That's what I have to say. But I want to see the article, please. Please send it to me.
Excellent. And
Okay.
Tony, if you could send that link to info@aortichope.org. And you answered a
Please.
lot of Natalie's questions. She said she'd never heard of it before. And
Ah,
Tony had responded post perfusion syndrome.
yes.
Now he says that
Yes.
this is under a paywall, but it's worth it.
Mm, okay.
So we
All
hope
right.
to get that. Yeah, we hope to get that.
Yeah.
Hi, Melissa.
Hey, Melissa. Hey, I want to tell you guys something before we get into this first Feel Good Friday of 25. Did you know that today's Week in Review is brought to you by Rock from the Heart? Yes, indeed, indeed, it is. It is. So, Rock from the Heart, if you're unaware of who Rock from the Heart is, they are another organization, patient and caregiver led husband and wife team. Patient is Pete Johnson. Amy Johnson is his wife, fearless leader. They are an organization that really came together with the goal of educating the public about aortic disease, specifically, but not limited to aortic valve issues, bicuspid valve, stenosis, regurgitation, and then subsequent aneurysms. And they wanted to do it, but they wanted to do it with music because Pete's this awesome, great drummer in a band. And they really went beyond just his band and had their very first event, which they then added a symposium to the whole theme of the weekend. They brought on board Night Ranger. Hi, dating myself, but amazing, right? And I can't, of course, remember now which person in Night Ranger had their aortic valve replaced. So there was a kind of an affinity there to what they do as an organization. And so typically what happens is twice a year, they have an event on a Friday. And in February, it is in this year, St. Paul, Minnesota. And then in May, I think it's the second weekend in May, but we're going to talk about that at another time. They have it in North Dakota in Fargo. So this one coming up here in May, and they have this great symposium on a Friday, variety of speakers. I'm actually speaking this year. I speak every couple years, different topics. Lots of doctors who have spoken here, and individuals too that we've referred to them. So I'm so excited to hear them speak. And it's a great opportunity for you to meet other individuals in the community. And if you can't go to Minnesota, you get to be a part of this symposium and watch it for free because it will be virtually available. And then Friday, if you are there in person, you get to attend a dinner for survivors and caregivers. And then on Saturday, after having the afternoon free to go to Mall of America, to go check out Paisley Park, which I'll be doing again. They have the VIP event if you choose to go to that, which gives you an opportunity to mingle a little bit more, participate in some raffles and silent auctions, have a little nibbles. But that's when they have then the concert. And it's another super wonderful opportunity to be in such a great fun element with other people in the community. And this year's entertainment is the Spin Doctors. So I now have the song Little Miss stuck in my head. The only line I know is playing on replay in my head right now. So you want to go check them out. You want to go to rockfromtheheart.org. And then it's / events dash details. If you don't make it to the event part, just click on events and all of the details are there. There's still plenty of time for you to sign up, choose the package that you want. If you want to go to the dinner, if you want to do the VIP, but in the least, attend that symposium. because that's really where the important information and networking amongst each other is going to take place. And then if you can, go to the concert and stop by the Aortic Hope booth because we will be there. We're so excited to be a sponsor of their event. And they are now sponsoring a few of our weekend reviews so we can help them continue to promote this amazing event for 2025. And so that event, just so that I get the exact date correctly, the symposium happens on February 21st with the concert on the 22nd in St. Paul, Minnesota. So thank you, Rock from the Heart, for that. All right. First Friday, feel good. First, feel good. Friday, feel good. First Friday. It's the first one. All right. So the start of the year brings fresh possibilities. We all know that, right? And that's what's kind of nice. And so it's also the perfect reminder to embrace the goals that you set for yourself, the resolutions that you set out to achieve. So whether it's to grow, learn, or simply just be kinder on ourselves, let's celebrate the first steps towards those ultimate dreams. So here's to making this year our very best, one Friday at a time. So, what's the resolution you're excited to delve into again this year? I guess if it was related to this, I'm excited to get our book off the ground and get everybody feeling comfortable with the idea of acing their healthcare journey. Again, we will talk about that in detail. And I'm glad I used the word comfortable because if you haven't exercised any part of what we're going to be talking about in the future, it can be a little uncomfortable. So, that's mine. So, first Feel Good Friday. That happened. Check. I can't believe we're already into January of 2025. It's amazing. All right. And then our Sunday came. And we want to just make sure you guys are aware of this as we start the year in case we missed this for a few weeks. So, John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health, totally separate from the John Ritter Research Program for Aortic Vascular Conditions or aortic and vascular diseases. Okay. It's not titled for genetic testing. It's the John Ritter Research Program for Aortic and Vascular Diseases. I'm glad I remembered that too. So if you or your loved one's been diagnosed with a thoracic aortic aneurysm or aortic dissection, this is probably really good information for you because they focus primarily, if not only, on the thoracic area of the aorta, mainly the ascending. Okay. If you're going to really start to pinpoint, that's where their primary focus is. And really one of the reasons is because that's the most potentially fatal area. And that reason is because that's the highest volume of blood. It comes right out of the heart, goes right into that ascending part of your candy cane. That's your thoracic ascending. It's the only one. It's right there because it's going up. It's ascending. That's their primary area of focus. And so there's a lot of connective tissue disorders, a lot of genetic issues and mutations that really affect that area as well as other areas, but that area. And so you'd like to think in the future, if we can pinpoint all of them, then we have some more ammunition. We're armed better to attack this disease to help our loved ones, our children, our siblings, their children, so that again, they do not encounter the rare aortic dissection. That's really the goal. Doctors and scientists at this point have really only identified about 20% of the genes that can cause aortic aneurysms and acute aortic dissections to be inherited in families. And honestly, in the community, you probably see 20 to 30% of everyone who's had a dissection knows that they have a connective tissue disorder, has it named, has it numbered. But the other 70 to 80, we still do not have a clue. So when those results come back and say, we got nothing, it doesn't mean nothing. It means nothing at the time of that result. And that's the thing that I don't feel is communicated enough to people. If you hear about things happening in your family and it still comes back with nothing, don't let nothing be your only answer. Go back 6 years later. There's going to be more genes. There's going to be more mutations discovered. See if you're a match for any of those. So studies, they're really just beginning to take a look at the role that genetics play in patients who have had an aortic dissection, but do not have a family history. That's the more precarious ones, people that just pop out of nowhere and have this. So these research studies really aim to learn more about the genes that cause people to have an aortic aneurysm and acute aortic dissections Further identification of these genes that cause people to have these conditions will increase our ability to identify who's at risk. That's key right there, and provide information on how to better diagnose and manage aortic and vascular diseases. So if you want to learn more about the studies, there's contact information right there on that post. That is under our research section of our website. In a nutshell, if you contact JRRP through University of Texas, Houston, there is a question answer phone conversation. If you're accepted into this research study, this is not clinical genetic testing. This is a research study, ongoing, many years, many more years to come. They will send you a questionnaire. So what you'd want to do is really, before you make these contact, is get a good snapshot of your family history. This is not your third and fourth cousins removed. Mm-mm. This is your parents, your grandparents, your sibling, children. I would say, I don't know if this is accurate, but just to be prepared to maybe get first cousins. But that is as far as you really need to go. And you're going to answer questions, and it's almost going to look like a family tree with different things about things that have happened. Don't discount certain things like detached retinas, any medical issue that happened. Let the experts be the ones to determine what is a piece to a puzzle. You'd be surprised what is and what isn't. And then after they ask you the question, they're going to send you a test kit. This test kit is to collect saliva. You think it sounds easy? It is not easy. You must think about lemons. You must smell lemons. You must look at food that makes you hungry, things that make you thirsty, because it takes forever to collect enough saliva into these little test tubes. Trust me, I have done it. It takes a long, long time, a very long time. And you can only do it a certain period, like after you've eaten or before some. I can't really remember all the rules, but you're constantly get some spit and putting it in the test tube. And then that's pretty much it. You're gonna close it up, gonna ship it off, and it is kept anonymously. No name, just numbers and stuff assigned to it. And they're going to test it when they get a batch of 100. If you are not part of 100, if you're the third batch of this one, you're going to sit and wait a very, very long time till they get enough participants, and then they send that batch off. Hopefully that makes sense. Once it's sent off, if it comes back with a match to something, you will most certainly be notified of what that is. Okay. I do not know for sure if they notify you if you come back with something called a VUS. V is in Victor US, a variable of unknown significance. I don't know. I don't know if they go that far. And I don't know that they reach out if there is no answer. That I cannot say. I did this a long time ago. I don't want to speak out of turn. The benefits of research is that in the future, the outcome has no bearing on one's ability to obtain long-term care insurance, or it will not impact your ability to retain life insurance. That's important things to think about, because policies and things could change. Research, anonymous. Clinical, guaranteed answer, probably going to be the same collection method or blood test, or swab in your mouth, the same intense gathering of information. You will have an answer given back to you probably 30, 60 days, depending on certain panels, could be up to 90. You will be having the aortopathy panel, which I believe consists of about 38 genes. You do not ask for the aortopathy. They know they're giving you this panel. There's nothing that you have to remember to ask for. You are going there because this is what you're having done. And typically your cardiologist or your surgeon could give you that script to have the clinical genetic testing done for the aortopathies. Sometimes it's covered by insurance, sometimes it's not. When it's not, you usually can have a conversation with the genetic testing facility and work out something financially. I've really not known of anybody who's had to pay any kind of exorbitant amount of money. It's usually done by GeneDx or Invitae. Okay, so not something that you would send off on your own, something you definitely want your physician to help you out with. And then they're going to get back to you and they're going to tell you what they found. And the number one thing I need you to remember, because we all can be mashugana, is if it comes back with something, don't go freaking out. Go freak out because you don't understand what it means. And if you find out you have a gene for something now, don't freak out, because it doesn't mean that gene has been turned on. If a family member has a gene and they're perfectly healthy, then they're still perfectly healthy. The gene hasn't been turned on. They have to get turned on, right? We all are born with something. We just They're not all turned on yet, right? How long did I live with a Crohn's disease issue in me? But it wasn't until I was in my 20s before it reared itself. So try not to freak out. Let the genetic counselor answer those questions for you. Okay. So that's the difference between a research study and the clinical. The clinical results can be shared with a long term insurance company and life insurance. Okay, because it would then be kind of sort of pre-existing because it's in you, right? Even though pre-existing issues are not an issue anymore since the Affordable Care Act, that can go away one day. So there's pros and cons. If you have a child and you want to have them tested, don't have them tested unless you know that you have something. Have them treated as if they have something, right? Would be my suggestion, my opinion. If you don't know if you have something, hold off on your child then. They may force that issue anyway. But some people like to have life insurance policies in place before they have their children tested. It's personal choice. There's a lot of things to talk about. Have an intense conversation with that genetic counselor, with the genetic educator, with your own physician, with your family members, and it's very personal and make that decision for yourself. Okay? That was that post. That's a good ending. That was that post. All right. Events. Lots of events happening. All of your typical events we talk about all the time. All of our support group meetings are up and noted. Okay. We just had an aortic kitchen. That was last week. Spaghetti. I saw that with pesto, something else with pistachio. Looks very yummy. I do have to put the link to the bereavement group, which is happening this week on the 9th. Some additional things that are happening. We have an aortic artist that's going to be happening. I don't have that up here yet. And I don't know what we're making yet. So that's only one other thing that I have to put up, unless there is a live event that pops up at the last minute. Probably won't be because a couple of us will not be around last week of January. We are attending the Society of Thoracic Surgeons conference. We're super excited to be able to be there alongside of Think Aorta US and work on awareness, and education. So that is what we're doing. And that's what I got. That's what I got, everybody. So happy. 2025 got a lot to do. So that's what I got. But I just want to thank everybody for joining. Did anybody else join or have a comment before I sign off?
They're going back and forth right now about the documentary itself. It turns out it may be that only this account can post links into the chat. I'm not sure. But I did find the IMDb link for Pumphead. And
Okay.
this is written and directed and produced by Andrew Pike.
Interesting. I would like to see that. That would be, maybe I'll reach out to Andrew and see if maybe he'd like to be a guest
There you go.
and have a screening. Don't let me forget that. I have such bad pump head. I can't remember.
You know,
You
mentioned
didn't see what I did there, did you? Didn't you miss that? Okay.
Oh, I might have missed it. You did mention wanting to show the Rock from the Heart thing. Why don't we just go over there real quick?
Just click onto go to their page.
Yeah, Rock from the Heart.
Let's see what we've got. All right.
Click that more.
And go down to their event details, everybody.
46
I love this.
days. Yeah.
Yep. So this section right here kind of talks about their aortic ed session, aortic ed sessions. It's their educational session. So you can register for that. So the survivors and patients do not, well, the symposium's free. The dinner is, I don't believe that there's a charge for patients. The session is from 1 to 6, which is usually followed by a reception and fun picture taking and some raffles. And then there is a dinner afterwards. And so you would click there. And then if you'd like to go to see spin doctors, you can click there. And there's probably an option for the VIP event as well. Hotel lodging, which is in the same building as the symposium. So you don't have to walk outside in February in Minnesota. Okay. That's all there. And some things to do when you're in St. Paul, which is not going to be important to me because I'm going to Paisley Park. Now, what's new for this year that's really excited is their community heart screening. I can tell you that it does include a stethoscope check, which is listening for any issues with the valve, and I believe an echocardiogram. I'm not quite sure how they're pulling this off. I'm pretty excited to see how it's going to turn out. But that is happening. So that's in the morning. If you don't have plans on Saturday before the concert, you can do that. Okay. And then they also have their information for their next event, which is May 2nd, 3rd, 2nd, and the 3rd. May 2nd and 3rd. And that's with Sebastian Bach is that musical guest. And he loves Rock from the Heart. So you guys should check that out. All the information is there for you. And that's all I have for today, everybody. That's all I got. I got nothing. Nothing.
Well
I just
done.
don't.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you too, Joshua. And to everybody that paid attention and watched and chatted, I appreciate all of you. Again, don't forget to click like, click subscribe, click the little bell so you're notified every time we go live. And please share this because somebody will find the information interesting. I almost guarantee you. Don't forget to use that 25% off either. Get started. Don't delay. Grab some swag today. Until next week, we'll talk soon. Take care. Have a good one.